For my critical essay, I discuss communication as a term, and I define culture and how these two terms play on each other in the real world. First off, what is intercultural communication? It's the way that people from different cultures and different backgrounds endeavor to communicate across cultural lines. Communication is a process by which information is exchanged between individuals through a common system of symbols, signs, and behavior. But the key here is that you have to have a common system. Culture is the customary beliefs, social forms, and the material traits of a racial, religious, or social group, and we'll dive into that a little bit later in the presentation. By understanding these three terms, we are more cognizant of how they apply to our own lives and how we can broaden our horizons in the communication realm. Culture and identity are two terms that really play off of each other. That's something that I discuss in my paper. Identities consist of a person's answer to the fundamental question, where do I belong? Identities are based on mutual images and stereotypes, and we build these within our in-groups and based on communication that we have between differing groups. Therefore, identity acts as our interpretations of where we belong and how other people belong in terms of culture. Each individual identity plays off of the others to create a complex identity, which is our image of our entire self. So as my theme for my essay, I dive into how race plays into cultural identity and how that plays into intercultural communication. Halstead, who is one of my sources, asserts that race and culture seem to work hand in hand to create visible and important distinctions among groups within a larger society, and sometimes race plays a part in establishing separate cultural groups. And that just means that two people from the same race could identify as the same cultural group, but they may have different versions of that culture and so on and so forth. So there are communication barriers between different races and within the same race. In the United States specifically, there's historical racism that continues to influence the way that we communicate between races and within the same race. So in conclusion, intercultural communication is how we're able to break down barriers, but there's also incidents where it helps to build them up, and so we're trying to combat that. Intercultural communication is what makes it possible to live in a diverse world, but this diversity is also what creates tension. So we must make every effort to know those who are different from us, because the only way to communicate effectively is to find that common ground.